Hello! Welcome back to another Southwest Airlines trip report. I've got this video and then another Southwest one coming up next. So if you're tired of the Southwest reviews, just bear with me. As you can see, I am on one of the uncommon 737-800 still painted in the Canyon Blue livery, landing in none other than the fabulous Las Vegas. We'll be heading over to Indianapolis soon. Let's fly! Vegas! Yep, we're in Vegas, guys. Reid International Airport, formerly known as McCarran, stands oddly close to the city center of Las Vegas, which allows for good skyline shots if you get lucky. As you know it, we're once again flying Southwest Airlines, which flies here at Terminal 1. I arrived at the sea gates. I'm set to depart from the sea gates as of now, but as it turns out, I have 4 hours here. So in this video, we'll be taking a look around Terminal 1 since I haven't even seen the airport yet. And this will be a similar video to Flight 363, except instead of it being Denver Concourse C, it's Vegas Terminal 1. One highly interesting thing I noticed is that, well, I guess Lego vending machines are a thing now. Reid International is comprised of 3 terminals. We are currently in the sea gates of Terminal 1, which is dominated by Southwest Airlines. But I'm going to take you on a quick walkthrough all the way to the A concourse, and we'll go from there, see the B gates, and then more of the C gates. Before we do, let's take a look at this view from here. Right in front of us, as you see, is one of the Southwest's -800s. If you read the title, you'll know that I will be taking one of these to Indianapolis. But this one isn't my plane. Mine is actually trekking from Houston to Dallas, and then is going to come over here from there, and then I'll be hopping on to Indianapolis. I don't think I've said this before, but I am actually quite a big fan of Southwest livery. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Okay, now let's start our trek to the A gates. It was quite a walk just to get to the center of the terminal, or maybe I just spent a lot of time in this museum hallway. This is no doubt one of my favorite parts of this airport. It's actually called the Nevada Aerospace Hall of Fame, and I'd suggest paying a visit if you've got a fair sum of time at this airport. Naturally, the things that caught my eye the most were these 2 glass display boxes with some nice model planes. I think I forgot to address the elephant in the room. What better airport to put a casino in than Las Vegas International itself? Well, the thing is, it doesn't just have a casino. It kinda is the casino. Okay, at least Terminal 1. They got slot machines everywhere. If you're flying in or out of here, it's pretty much impossible not to see a gambling area. But I guess we can't be reminded enough that we are, in fact, in Vegas. I did not get much footage on the way because, well, I was carrying both a carry-on and a Jamba Juice. Although some things were a little strange, most of the airport resembles a typical United States airport, excluding the gambling machines. It is highly abundant in places to eat and places to shop, which you'll see on my way back to my gate. Eventually, I finished my Jamba Juice and then was able to take more footage, but by then I was already almost to this one circular section of the A gates. There are actually 2 of them in Concourse A and 2 others at Concourse B. They're almost identical to each other. They have a few key differences from one another, but obviously they're going to have a gambling area in the center. I'm in the farther one up, which is completely dominated by Allegiant, but I spent a lot of time here because obviously we got a really good view of the city. You can see the other side of A as well, which is clearly dominated by Spirit. I actually expected that the Bs would be dominated by Frontier, but no, they're all the way over at the Es, which we won't be going to. While we're here, let's talk about the main point of this video, the reason why you probably clicked on it. I'll be back on Southwest Airlines as you know it, Flight 2435, which at the time was, and probably still is, operating the Las Vegas to Indianapolis route. But this is going to be a rather unusual flight, one that I've been debating with myself about because of the timing. You see, it's scheduled to leave at 6:25 p.m. and will be crossing all 3 time zone boundaries in the United States from Pacific all the way to Eastern Time. This will make its scheduled arrival to be about 1 a.m. next day. 3-hour flight, arriving the next day. Kinda reminds me of something, Oh yeah! Red-eye flights! Is it a red-eye flight or no? That's what I've been thinking about. It's confusing, because some definitions just say that a red-eye is a flight that departs at night and arrives next day. That definitely applies to this flight. But others are more specific, stating that a red-eye flight departs late at night and arrives early in the morning. 6:25 p.m. departure? Not late at all. Nothing like the red-eye I took last year, which left at almost midnight. Yeah, it's gonna arrive early next day, but I wouldn't consider 1 a.m. to be the morning. And I could definitely get more sleep after that, so I don't know. Based off the more specific definition, I wouldn't quite consider this flight to Indianapolis a red-eye flight. But it's close, so I'll call it an almost red-eye. Or a pink-eye flight. Okay, no, I'm just joking. Welcome to the other circle of the A-gates, where Spirit Airlines dwells, and we actually got operational flights here. Yeah, literally no one was going on those Allegiant planes. It was too crowded there to stay long, so I'm happy I wasn't boarding from any of those gates. Now we're in Concourse B. They also have these circular ends that are almost identical to the ones at A, but I didn't really take a look at those. My gate for today will be C2, but before we go there, I'm gonna find somewhere to eat. I didn't notice this before, but they also got a model of one of Southwest's special liveries. I don't know if this is an old one because I have not seen it before, but it's pretty cool. Fast forward, I ended up picking an Italian restaurant to eat at for dinner, and the food tasted pretty good. What wasn't good was that sooner or later, my flight ended up being delayed 20 minutes, and then later it got delayed even more. Also, FlightRadar24, the app I use for flight tracking, must have broke down on my flight, because according to them, the aircraft that was set to take me to Indianapolis, November 8608 November, was also set to go to Austin at the same time? What? Basically, that got me wondering if they were going to swap it to maybe something newer like a MAX and leave that 10-year-old one to go to Austin, or at least a newer 800.
Still do not know if they're going to put said aircraft on my route or if they're going to take it to Austin. FlightRadar24, please make up your mind.
But no, that is not what they did. They kept the aircraft on my route and canceled the Austin flight. I'm glad I'm not on the Austin flight, that is for sure. Well, ship 8608 it is. Still, I had been hoping that I'd get on a 737 MAX at least once, and I had hope because they had been using that aircraft type on other days this route took place. Eventually, I just had to accept the fact that I would be on a normal Dash 800 for this flight, but little did I know that a few days later, my wish would be granted. That will be the subject of my next video. I still had a lot of time to kill before my aircraft even arrived, so I spent a lot of time plane spotting. From what I've seen, I think I've gotten some pretty good shots. Just so you know, I'm not using a high quality camera or anything. This is just an iPhone SE, so no, I'm not a professional plane photographer or anything. But this is what I got.
Yeah, basically you can take a tram to the D gates if you want, but I didn't do that today.
As soon as Flight Radar had shown my aircraft arrived, I rushed over to my gate, and there she was, I guess. Hey, what you doing back there? A bit camera shy, aren't you? What? Are you taking me to Indiana? Do you know something I don't? Did I offend you? Okay, in all seriousness, this aircraft's just been standing here for quite some time. I don't know why, and I never found out. You coming? There we go. That's right. Come along to C2. Let's go. Here she is. Of all the Southwest aircraft we've seen so far, this will be my 3-hour ride to Indianapolis today. Sorry for the wait. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, am I right? Well, not today. I'm not going to explain much about Southwest's abnormal boarding process because I did that in my previous reviews. Let's just say that on this trip, I did not have early bird check-in. But I was smart enough to check in online 24 hours prior to my previous flight, which got me boarding position B1. Southwest has open seating, so I'm confident that I'll have a decent seat selection.
Behind you can find a seat also. If you've brought on more than one carry-on item, go ahead and place.
Welcome on board. This is the second Southwest 737-800 we're taking a look at on this channel, but unfortunately we got one of the older planes, which means it's equipped with these outdated seats, more similar to the ones on the Airline 700 variants. It does have the sky interior though, which is a step up from the Dash 700 with more overhead bin space. I mean, it's not that old for a 737NG, just the product is outdated. Normally, in terms of seat comfort, that's not always a bad thing, but let's just say that the legroom in this interior isn't as impressive as the Heart interior, which we saw in Flight 259. Nothing against it because it's still great and better than the Dash 700. I was just a little disappointed knowing what I could have gotten if they had given me an aircraft that was 6 years old or younger. This is exactly why I'd recommend taking the 737 MAX if you're comfortable with it, given the past controversies of course, because that's the only aircraft type in the fleet that is 100% equipped with the Heart interior. With these Dash 800s, it's a hit or miss, and both this flight and the one I took into Vegas, which also had this outdated interior, made me realize that. But of course, we can't go wrong when we're flashing these Split-Scimitar winglets. The tray table is perfectly fine. It is not as wobbly as I expected, and definitely among the cleanest I've seen in these past few years. Seat pocket contents are the same as always. We've got a safety card, air sickness bag, and a drink menu. We are actually 1 day late on this. Yeah, that's true. I took this flight the day after Valentine's Day. That's all I'm going to show you while on ground, and I'm going to switch to background sound with subtitles for now. K4E out.
52 degrees. Apologize for the slight delay today. They had a optional illness here in Vegas waiting on some connecting passengers. Made our way here in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for joining us. Welcome aboard.
You will pull the red strap to open the container and remove the pouch. Place the vest over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist and buckle it down tight. Pull the strap to tighten. Once on landing aircraft, look down on the red tab in front to a plate.
And there's that. We have crossed all 3 United States time zone boundaries in just about 3 hours. Arrived a bit late, but not late enough for me to call this a red-eye flight. It sure reminded me of one, but okay, let's not talk about that. Southwest has once again proven themselves to be an exceptional carrier. Yeah, the seats were outdated on this plane, but I can't be too disappointed because they were still better than what you'd see on most European and American legacy carriers. I forgot to mention this, but they do have a bit of recline, and this should be the same on all Southwest planes, I believe. And the crew were wonderful as usual, but this time they not only served 1, but 2 different snacks. Oh, and they were good snacks. I've said before that the snack mix is tasty, but the brownie brittle brought their service level in my view up a ton. Lufthansa and Iberia better be taking notes here. Maybe American and United Airlines too. But the icing on the cake was none other than the in-flight entertainment selection. Free movies on a low-cost carrier? Yep, I definitely recommend these guys. Which brings us to the final score, which is 8.4 out of 10. Another win for Southwest, and I have hope for my next flight with them. It will probably be my last Southwest review this year, and if so, it'll be the perfect finale, where I'll be taking none other than the Boeing 737 MAX 8.